Hey. Welcome to the Have You Met You podcast. I'm your host, Sasha Pearl, the energy architect, and I guide soul led women in building authentic 6-figure businesses while aligning their identity, purpose, and message using my highly potent method. Let's get into it. Hey, everyone. I am so excited to be here today. I think I've finally mastered the systems for creating a podcast. Yay. And also, I will be launching a new podcast every Sunday evening for your Monday viewing. I don't know if anyone knows this about me, but Mondays are like my favorite day of the week. I know, wild, but I remember being in corporate, hating my job or hating Mondays, like the Sunday scaries. Like, it was such a true thing. And so I made it my mission to make sure I design my schedule where I have no meetings on Monday and I just have literally contrast therapy, workout, and therapy. And then the rest of the day is like client work, admin stuff. And that is just so nice to like wean myself into my work week. So I highly recommend setting up a schedule for you that actually aligns with your unique energetics and your unique energy in the world. And maybe we'll get into that in another podcast, but it's very important for a projector, if you are out there, to create a lot of space within your week. So you can have, because you just don't know if you're going to have more energy one day, less energy the other, but having a lot of space to then move things around in the calendar. So just a little tidbit for my projectors out there. But today we are going to be going over our profiles in human design and how we can really maximize those in our marketing. So what is human design? We're going to start there, and then what are profiles? So human design is the science of our aura. We have an aura that expands at least 7 feet in all directions of us, and we are in constant relationship to energy at all times. Everything is energy, and that is just science. And so that means that we are in relationship to literally everything. So human design takes in the Kabbalah, the I Ching, the chakra system, and astrology, and it spits out this body graph chart. And this chart is literally the roadmap back to your purest form of being, which is what I find the most magnificent about the entire system. This is the one system that gave me license to be exactly who I am. When I found out I was a projector, and I think a lot of projectors say this, it changed their lives because this entire world has been created by the generators and the manifesting generators of the world. And it just felt so nice to give myself a goddamn break of all the hustle. And to be fair, because I was raised by a manifesting generator mother and conditioned by the society and by my agency roles, I do definitely work more than what a projector should, but I'm also building stuff, right? And so there's also take into consideration that there are also seasons where you need to put in more work, and there's also seasons where you could have more rest. So with that, let's get into the profiles. So if you haven't listened already, I would love for you to listen to your energy type and strategy, your authority, and those are going to be in the first few episodes. So please go look at those. And then the third thing that you really need to understand is going to be your profile. And in human design, your profile is your personality in this world. So for example, when people are talking human design who understand human design, they go, I'm a 4/6 projector with self-projected authority, or I'm a 6/2 generator with sacral authority, right? So we go profile first, then we do energy type, and then we do authority, because those are the three things that you are really going to want to take away from your human design. Like, if you know nothing else, knowing those three things are really going to be the cherry on top. So when we start diving into like the details and nuances of someone's chart, those things cannot be fully accessed if you're not accessing your energy type, strategy, authority, and profile. Okay. So I would say from that importance, energy, strategy, authority, and then profile. Okay. Those are what are going to be the most important things from hierarchy that you need to know. So going into profile, how you find your profile is going to be in your conscious sun, conscious earth, unconscious sun, unconscious earth. So you're going to see and it's going to start from on the right side. That's your personality. And then on the left side is going to be your design side. Okay. So your conscious side is your personality, and then your design side is your subconscious. So it will say like 2.4, 13.4. So that means that you are 4. And then on the other side, it's going to have like 26.6, 1.6. And then so you're going to know that that's a 6 line. So it's 4-6 profile when you look at your charts too. And then a lot of the reports already have will already say it for you. So you don't even need to look at your chart in that depth or detail to know what your profile is. So with the profile, I know I kind of went into the unconscious, subconscious, design, personality. So we have two states of being, right? We have our conscious awareness, which is going to be our personality side, which is on the right side of our charts. And then we have the unconscious side, which is going to be on the left side. And that's going to be more of our traits that were inherited. And these are traits too that you may not be as aware of, or gifts that you may not be as aware of as you are on your conscious side. Okay. And when we are looking at personality profile, on your first number of your profile, so say a 4-6, I'm using that example because I'm a 4-6, 4-6. So the first number is how you perceive yourself, right? And then the second number is how others perceive you, which is really important because you're always going to have, if you think about it, you're always going to have a different perception of yourself than what other people perceive you to be, right? Like there's always going to be, right? Because you can't control how other person's lived experiences are going to inform how they view you, right? So that's also really fascinating. Okay, so the second thing that you're going to want to know is that when you have a smaller number in front of the profile, so say a 4-6 or a 2-4, you are on a personal life journey. So it's really about your own self discovery. It's a very inward and personal experience of life. And then if you have like a 6-2 or a 5-1 or any of the other ones, you're going to have more of it's called a transpersonal profile. So you're going to have more of an outward facing, focused on interacting with others and influencing and fulfilling in a collective purpose and having like a karmic role in the lives of other people. There are 12 different combinations of profiles. We are only going to go over each of the different lines of the profile so you can quickly put them together as your own. Okay, so we are going to start with the line ones. So the line ones are the investigators. They love researching. They are deeply, deeply, deeply curious about all the data and facts. They actually feel very safe when they have the information they need to make a decision. So these are going to be people who love to research different types of topics depending on what their authority is. So if you're sacral authority, go after what really lights you up in the information that you're researching. And it may not be related to what your work is, but just know if you have that knowledge, there's going to be a reason, and your soul is asking you to go and research it. There's going to be a reason why you need that knowledge later on. You may not know why now, but you will know later on. So just know, keep following all of the research, all of the data, all of the facts, and just align yourself to the authority that you have. So making sure that you are making decisions using the correct aligned authority. If you want more information on authority, you can go back to a few episodes back, or actually that was last episode. So episode 9, and listen to that one. So line ones are going to be the knowledge seekers. They're going to need all the data and facts. You're going to want a line one on your trivia team because they're going to have all this information that you're like, how the hell do you know that? Oh, I read it in some random article at some random time, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So line ones, you guys are the knowledge seekers. You're going to be the little brainiacs over there. We love that for you. Then we go into the line twos, which are the hermits or the naturally gifted. So line twos is a projection profile. And what I mean by that is that people are going to tell you what you're really good at because you're so naturally gifted at what you do. You do not know that you're so good at it, right? Because it's just so innate and within you. So the more that you can really go hermit, be alone, and go play in the energy of whatever is exciting you and really honing in on that skill that you're naturally gifted at, that is where you're going to have other people come in and be like, oh my God, you're so good at X, Y, and Z. But you do need to have a lot of alone time and space to go work on the practices that you have. So the two things with the line two is that you are going to really want to spend a lot of alone time because you have that hermit energy. So you're going to be a little bit more introverted in that way. And then secondly, go and be alone and like work on the thing that you really are naturally gifted at. And you're not really going to know this right away, or maybe you will, who knows? It's just something that you're naturally just going to be doing. And so when you're out in the world and you're out of your little hermit shell, people are going to be like, oh my God, you're like so good at that. Write that list down so you are aware of what you are good at, right? Because once again, if you are so good at something and it's so innate in you, you're not really going to see yourself as that, as you're not going to be able to see yourself like it's a gift, right? But it is. So the more people who are saying, oh my God, you're really good at that. Oh my God, you're really good at that, clock that because that is what's going to be part of your gifting for the work that you're putting into the world. And as a line two in marketing, the more that you can show your gift, the more that people are going to understand what you're really, really good at. Okay. So for example, I have a line two friend who is a 2-4, and she always gets wonderful engagement in marketing when she is actually and she's a spiritual guide. She gets such good engagement when she's actually doing light language activations and showing people the work that she has, right? Like she has incredible access to so many different worlds because of this gifting, unique gifting that she has within her and something that she's honed, right? So when she's actually on social media and like showing people what is happening in a light language session by just offering like short 90-second, 60-second light activations, it's really showing people like, oh, this is what it's like to be in the presence with her. Oh, wow, something is shifting even in the quick 60 seconds. Like, what would a 60-minute session be like with her, right? So, in marketing, just being sure that you are showing people the process of like what you're doing. Like, what are you doing in your alone time? What are you working on, right? And then I didn't say this for line ones, but when you are sharing about like any content at all, share the details and facts about things. You are going to be the person, people are going to be like, well, she probably did you're the researcher. She's probably done an immense amount of research, and that's going to build a lot of trust for you. So making sure that when you are showing up and you're in your essence, showing that you're also backing it up with the research data and facts of things. That's going to be really supportive for your marketing content. So moving into line three, the great experimenter. We love a line three. Line threes are just experimenting with life. There's no failures for a line three because you're literally meant to have like a non-linear way of being in the world. You're meant to try things on. If it didn't work, you didn't like it, it turns into your not self, then go do another thing. But you are literally here. You're like the alchemist, the innovator. Like you are really meant to like play into this kitchen of like all these different potions and all of the things that you really love to do and figure out like throwing spaghetti at the wall until it sticks, right? And just like, oh, I get it now. But people are going to trust you because they're going to know that you've done it, and you have to do it before you even know you want to do it or not, right? You cannot think your way through something with this line in your profile. You must experience it before you know if you want to continue on or not, right? And so you are the great experimenter. So don't get stuck by overthinking, overanalyzing, and being like, I don't have all the data and facts. I don't have all the data and facts. Specifically thinking of like a 1-3 friend that I have. But the more that you can just get into the grind of things and just go and do it, that is where the magic is really going to live for you. Okay. And as far as marketing goes, like think about showing up in on social media and having this behind the scenes. Like what are all the different things that you tried to accomplish, and what are the success or failures of those? Because the more that you can share the entire process of your experimentation, that is where people can be like, oh, she's been there, she's done that, this is my girl to go and follow. So share your failures as much as you share your successes. I highly recommend. So any of the profiles that are going to be in the first three, the 1, 2, or 3 line, these are really personal, really personal profiles all about self discovery. So, self discovery of the data and facts, self discovery of your natural gifts, and then self discovery through experimentation, right? Into the next set of profile lines 4, 5, and 6. So, let's go with the fourth line. You guys are the natural butterflies, the social butterflies here. You live and die on the connections that you have. Okay? You People always say your net worth is in your network. I literally don't know where I heard that from, but I was like, that is so true. So I'm going to keep using it. Sorry, I can't shout out whoever brought that into existence, but such a beautiful way of being like, yes. So you need to really evaluate the people that you spend the most time with. Okay. Your community, if they don't see you, you will not succeed. You must surround yourself with people who are going to amplify you in the world, who inspire you in the world, and who just fucking get you. Because once you feel that you are seen and heard in the communities that you are surrounding yourself in, that is where all of your gifts starts to magnetize and like come online. I promise you this because I'm also fourth line, and it like changed my life when I actually met people who were speaking the same language as me. Okay. And so with the fourth line too, fourth lines are incredibly warm. So you're going to really feel the energy of a fourth line because of the warmth that they exude in one-to-one relationships with one another. And because fourth line is you're an externalizer. So you actually do really well with like long form content. You love chatting when it's about a topic that you care about. And the other thing of a line 4 is when you are crossed, you're naturally warm, but when your trust is taken away or you are crossed, you become icy, icy cold. So don't let people fuck with you because once they do, they're out and you're like, nope, we're done. And we're done here. Okay. We love a good line 4. So as far as social networking, social media and networking goes for you, live networking events, communities that have like minded people in it or your ideal clients in it. And when you're showing up on social media, it's literally social, right? So build the connections with the people that you want to be building connections with. If you have DMs coming in and people are chatting you up, talk back to them in a meaningful way because the more authentic that you can be in the relationship with them, the more that it's going to resonate with them. And then they're probably more likely to book your product or service with you. Okay. So build a connection from a very authentic place, not of a I need or that like grabby place, but of like I can serve you and I can help you. And you're obviously resonating with me because you are going out of your way to cold DM me. So finish off those leads by having a real conversation with them. Easy peasy, you know? So the more that you can, and in your content, talk to these people like they're your best friend. Don't get friend zoned. Don't get me wrong here, but be warm, be inviting, open up a conversation for relationship building. And that is where the key is for the fourth lines in networking and social media. Moving into the fifth line, the heretic. People just generally think that you have answers to their questions or their problems, right? You are the solutions person. You are usually going to be in the health and wellness field. For whatever reason, a lot of fifth lines are there. And the thing with the fifth line is also you guys are natural leaders. Like you guys are going to want to lead in a big way. And it's because the thing about your energy is that people just inherently already know that you can solve the problems for them. Okay. Even if you don't feel that way, it's true. And so also with the fifth line, it's also a projection line, right? And this projection is about really people kind of dumping their shit onto you because they feel like you can hold it. And secondly, they feel like you can solve their problems for you. And so there might be some issues where you're just like trying to hold space and have a regular conversation and people are trying to get like the solution from you. And you're like, we are not on that level right now, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So just like being really aware that people might dump their shit onto you, but it has nothing to do with you. End of the day, right? It's just that you hold the energy of someone who's going to have answers for people. And sometimes you're not going to, and that's totally fine. But that is the energy you hold. And then for a fifth line, when you are in social media and you are sharing, share how you can help people, how you can serve. You are going to be really good at understanding problems based off of whatever the lived experiences are that you've had and then just keep sharing about how you solved your own problem. And then people are going to be like, well, how do you solve this? How do you solve this? Use the content that's already happening in your comments to solve the problem. Okay. So the more that you can really speak into service and impact and being able to answer questions of people's problems before they even know that there's a problem, that's where you're going to win in content. And then with a line 6, it is the wise sage, the influencer. So the 6th line is really interesting. So you've already come into this life really wise. You have a lot of knowledge that people have to go through an entire lifetime to understand. With a line 6 are late bloomers in the world. And they also have 3 stages of life. So 0 to 30 is all about experimentation. They act like a profile 3, so the experimenter, for the first 30 years of life because they have to try on all of these lessons to really know if it's correct for them or not. And in learning all of these lessons from 0 to 30, they move into 30 to 50, the second phase of life. And this is all about integration. So they call it about like hopping onto the roof and like just being like, been there, done that. Like if they want my advice, they can come to me and I'll let them know how to like solve it. But I'm just it's like you just sit there and watch people go do their things. And you're like, already done that. They're just gonna have to learn for themselves, et cetera, et cetera. So you really have this like deep well of wisdom because of the experiences that you've lived through. And so by the time 50 plus comes along, you become the influencer, right? Because you've experienced it, you've integrated all of these experiences, and you've seen other people and you've helped them integrate the experiences. And so now you are going to be coming into the 6th line era, the final phase of the 6th line, where you are just incredibly wise, the wise sage. You're this like, you just like all knowing, and you really can hold space for people because you've been there, done that. So just really honoring your deep wisdom and insight based off of your lived experiences or your just knowings in general and your intuition. So with that, as far as content goes, how can you share more of the wisdom that you hold, right? I know social media has small attention spans and they need simple language. So the more that you can discern very like wise wisdom into very simple terms, that is where you're really going to find success in the content there. So you're going to be bringing a new way of perspective and a new way of being for people when you share insights, right? I feel I'm also a 6th line. So I'm like, let me think about this from my own personal thing. It's like, I have these knowings and I share them and I'm like, oh, this is common knowledge. It's not common knowledge. A lot of people are not even thinking at the depth or the layers that you're thinking with the 6th line. Okay. So when you share those, like, be prepared to have some profound, like, you're going to be blowing minds away and you're going to have some profound insights that may feel just like, oh, well, that's just how it is. And this is just what it is. And it's like, no, 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 no. You literally opened and expanded a perspective of someone and just own that wisdom and that intuition and that knowing that you have because you came to this world to really amplify it by your own way of being, right? Because like your lived experiences shape your perspective and then shape those profound insights that you get to share with the world. Eventually take your profile, either 4, 6, 2, 4, or whatever combination it is of the 12, and then it's 333, and take the descriptions from each and then combine them. So for example, how you would like integrate this into social media. So I'm a 4, 6, so I want to come off as someone that is relatable, that someone who is like, hey, you're talking to your bestie here. Like, it's going to be some tough love when you're talking to me anyways. Like, if you're in conversation with me with someone like in my sphere 1 people, my group of people that I fucking love, that dedicate time to every week to hang out with, you're going to know that I'm going to love you fucking deeply. And I'm also going to tell you the goddamn truth. So you will always be initiated and activated by me when we are in relationship and also deeply nurtured, right? So I want people to feel that way in my 4th line energy, as well as offering profound insights through my 6th line wisdom, right? And so when we look at it too, 4th line, I know I'm a deeply connected and relational being. I'm also like a triple Venus and double Libra, right? So relationships have always been a huge part of me. And so when I found this out in human design, I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But then with the 6th line, this is how people perceive me, right? So the 6th line are like, oh, wow, that girl knows something that other people don't. Like I had a client tell me recently, which I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. But she was like, I love reading your emails. They're just just a bit ahead of their time. Like, you just know a bit more than what the human collective knows. You're a bit more conscious. And I was like, oh my God, that is so sweet. But I was like, okay, so that is really interesting, right? Because I'm like, no, this is, again, to what I was saying earlier. I was like, this is common knowledge. And it's just like not, right? People are not thinking about life in such an intimate, deep way because they're just not, right? Like, they're not designed to, and that's totally fine. So that is how you can really start taking in, though, those, like, it's like, yes, I'm gonna be your best friend, and yes, I'm gonna drop some like fucking solid wisdom on you. And that is where the balance lives. So say you're a 5-1. You would want to show up with, how are you going to solve people's problems? And then you're going to solve them and be like, yeah, you're going to do this because I already did the research and this is the research too, right? So you're going to be like, I can help you solve this problem because I've solved it for myself. And also, here are the data and facts to like back that up, right? So you can just really start taking in the profiles and then understanding, like, when you're showing up and creating content, create content from those personas essentially of each of the profile lines. So I trust that makes sense. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you want to do a deep dive into your human design, I offer highly potent human sessions, which are 60-minute human design readings that are really focused just on the energetics of who you are in the world, which are incredible. And I also just launched Signature State of Business Alignment Accelerator. And this is where we dive deep into your energetics and then your energetics of your business. So we start off with a 60-minute human design call, and then we move into a 90-minute roadmap session, and then we have a 60-minute integration call to make sure that everything is making sense, and I can help guide you in aligning all the systems and structures to amplify your growth of your business in the world. It's so incredible and so transformational. Another reason why I'm so passionate about this specific offering is that I want you to build businesses that you feel fucking good in. I don't want you to start a business or be in business and be like, why did I just create something that I left? Why did I create another corporate situation for myself when I wanted to create something that was for me, right? Like, we are always going to be building the things of what we know versus what we don't know, right? So we're going to hold on to old habits or ways of being that actually don't serve us. So with these sessions, we can actually activate what is in alignment for you or not. And so we always come back to our signature state in human design. And that goes back into our strategy for each of the energy types. It's super powerful. It's very insightful. Highly recommend. All the links will be below in the show notes. And I'm so excited. I hope this really gave you some insights. Let me know in the comments below how it resonated with you and what's coming up for you. Would love to hear. Okay, that's all for now. Bye.